This is a Big Brother 27 live feed update, and probably my last. Anyway, comment, like, subscribe, get me to 1,000 subs. So it appears that Zach really needed that $10,000 because he decided not to use the power despite the endless amount of red flags and warnings from people like Kat, from people like Rachel, Ashley, Keanu, uh, Morgan's craziness. But it's just yet another result of these men in the house in particular playing scared. Just like how Zach and Vince playing scared has led them to this week when they didn't not just keep Adrian, but ensure Lauren didn't put Adrian or Will up on the block. But I don't know. I guess he thinks if he pulls another Marcellas that he'll be able to use that 10K towards a date with him and Lauren. But, newsflash, Lauren's into Vince. The only thing he can hope for is Vince stays committed to his girlfriend during the show and even post-show. Because, maybe after the show, weeks and months pass and Vince is suddenly single. And guess who is his new girlfriend? Lauren. But yeah, he has no shot there. So outside of that, he must just really need the money. And, me personally, I don't hate watching anything. And this season has been, believe it or not, one of the most annoying seasons to watch, especially when you still have everybody in the house refusing to directly go after the returner, the person that won this game and won one of the most rigged seasons pre-Big Brother diversity. So you have that. And then you have the endless amounts of just pussy moves, especially by these men, where they just let the woman run the house. And again, that's part of his decision, is that he feared Morgan, of all people, being put in danger. Even though she made it clear she's a bunny boiler. But this is what you get when you have a mama's boy. But funny enough, his own mama told him not to simp. And imagine that. He makes a simpy move over a chick that he's not even really into. Makes absolute zero sense. Now, again, obviously, there's the BB blockbuster that he could possibly win, but he hasn't really been that great at comps. But if he doesn't win the blockbuster, he's going home no matter who he's sitting next to. He will have to hope that production wants to keep him in the house, since he appears to be moldable enough to work with Rachel. That's the only hope that he has. That the BB blockbuster, they give him a baseball themed comp and he's able to win it. But outside of that, he's pulled a Marcellas and he's going home because he was too chicken shit to just use his power and have some people upset at him. Even though he could have easily explained, hey, no one was really committing to keeping me in the house. I mean, literally, you couldn't get more warnings that you could get evicted. Outside of watching the feed yourself. I mean, he literally said that he might have to make a decision that's either going to blow up his game or potentially get him through to the next week. And right before the feeds went off, he was talking to Riley where people were telling him it's 50-50. And you make that gamble based on security you weren't even given. I mean, again, this is why I say you're probably going to end up with the predictable ending of Rachel and the POC women, one of the POC women taking Rachel out, and then one of them winning the game between Morgan, Ashley, and Nikki. Because it's not like we haven't seen bad players in the last 4 years win the game. We literally had a person that was evicted that won the game. A person that spoke loudly to the cameras where people heard them, openly jealous and envious over male attention, like Morgan right now, who ended up winning the game. Someone who was basically antisocial and a bitch in Taylor, who won the game. A blatant race-based alliance that even the dumbest person in the house, Christian, realized won the game. So, yes, one of these chaotic, messy POC chicks, as they like to say, could most definitely end up winning this game. Or Rachel becomes the first two-time winner. Who, again, will still be one of the worst winners 2 times. Just because he was put in there with a bunch of feminists and man-haters. Because Ava's big reason to put the guys up that she did was because, they're 3 big boys. And the poor girls have been on the block too much. Even though her decision still was guided by what Mickey wanted. Because if she had her way, as Ava initially said, she would have put Ashley or Morgan on the block. Keanu probably still would have went on the block because of the argument. And she did say that she didn't trust Vince, but she talked about putting Ashley or Morgan on the block. So this wasn't her move. But of course she justifies it with the whole man-hate nonsense. But anyway, this fool sealed his fate unless production pulls out a blockbuster that he can possibly win. And the only ones that I can possibly think about is the one that Rubina won, where she had to untie the ropes. But again, I can see Keanu doing pretty well in that, but he is pretty wide. There's that. And the other one is one of the ones Tucker won, where they had the air balls that you have to gather quickly, or the one that got Cedric evicted, where you had to calmly roll the balls in the center. But that's one that anyone can win. So, and if he gets evicted, which is more likely, he will continue that unofficial curse of that one side of the memory wall where everybody's been going home. But again, just utterly stupid. And I hate watching, so I might not even bother anymore. Especially with this week, since it's just going to be a bunch of waffling up until we know who won Blockbuster. But as it stands now, it appears Vince is the most safe. Even though he was the initial target.